Raven Graham, third. He's probably ain't no problem. He's the best athlete that I've ever played against. Best athlete I ever played against.
That's deep.
Right? And and I'm not saying that because it's my brother. I played against a lot of people that I thought were extremely good athletes, but that's just to show how good of an athlete he was. So one day in practice, I'm a sophomore, he a senior, and I'm on the scout team, and he runs a play. Fakes it, keeps the ball. We ran the veer, so he fakes it to the running back and follows the running back right in. He got the ball. It's third, but I nail him. I nail him. Right? I'm not going half speed. Right. I'm a sophomore, and I'm not even really supposed to be messing around with varsity, right? So back in the day, that's how it was.
Right.
And freshman sophomores, you don't even think about playing varsity.
Right.
So I was really, really fortunate to be in this situation. So I'm like, I'm gonna get him. So boom, 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 bang, I got him, and I hit him in his hand, right? And he looked at me. If I was anybody else, we would have been fighting. But he looked at me, took the ball, threw it in my face, right? He threw it in my face. I catch the ball. Why did I catch the ball?
That made it even worse.
I catch the ball. Yo, he was pissed off at me.
Yeah, he was definitely mad.
Yeah,
I know that.
He was boy, I was like, man, I'm gonna have to, this guy gonna get me out of here.
Everybody have to be mad at their boy.
But that was one incident. That was I'm young,
But that's the attitude you had though, man, and it was like the will or want to play and be better. Right. Definitely, man.
So the second incident was I was a freshman. This is the freshman in college when you arrived before the upperclassmen. So we had already about 4 or 5 practices in before the upperclassmen came in. So when the upperclassmen came in, first day of third was the following day from after they did their testing and all that, So we had a guy named James Jenkins on our team. James Jenkins was a 5th-year senior.
Running back?
Nah, he's a tight end.
Tight end? Okay.
He was tight end. But he also played, previous years, he had played outside linebacker.
Okay.
This guy right here was when I say he was put together, he was like, I'm looking at him like, so what's up, James? How you doing? That type of thing, right?
Yeah.
And on top of it, he was married with 2 kids. So I couldn't tell you how old he was.
Yeah, right.
I just know he was a
grown man.
Right. That was his shit.
Grown man. Right.
So now mind you, I'm playing safety, and they run seam route to the Y seam, right up. I'm in cover 2. I'm making the play. I'm going to make the play. I get there too late, but I'm a hitter, so. When I say I hit him, I put it on him.
Right.
Now, by the way, James Jenkins played. I think James played about 10 years in the league at Washington Redskins.
Okay.
So he, like I said, he's good. Yeah. This ain't no poo putt. So when I hit him, I was like, damn. So he gets up. My brother comes running. Because he about to smack him, because he thought we was going to get into a fight. Yeah. Man, James came up, he said, all right, Fresh, good hit. Yeah. And I was like this. Because I'm going to have me and my brother going to jump him. But those are 2 times where I thought I was going to get
not on the second day. I don't want to do this.
I just walked in, now my reputation, they word up. Nah, he was getting jumped though.
He was going to get jumped. I didn't know how, whether I was going to be on the team or not.
How it was going to work out afterwards, right. But I wasn't going to lose the fight.
Don't get mad I hit you hard, bro.
But those were the 2 incidents that I can remember. I mean, there's a couple more, but that showed me that I was going hard, and even in situations where we had situation drills. We always we had situation drills, and I go hard at them. I don't want to lose ever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
I want to always have success and things like that. So I think preparing the way I prepare and practice made me ultimately a better game day player.
What was your goal for playing football?
Be successful. Now, be honest with you.
Okay.
It was different growing up for me. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have no college team growing up. My college team was Elizabeth High School.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like we talked about tradition. You know what I mean? You guys watched me, but I watched guys like the Rodney Carters, Tom Bowles, Crusher.
Yeah.
Devereaux,
How was that deal? It was that deal growing up.
No,
Right?
listen, man. When I say we were, like I said, it wasn't because you didn't have talented freshmen or talented sophomores, but you had extra talented seniors.
Yeah.
Extra
There's people they couldn't go in front of. Where you gonna put them? Right. No disrespect
Like
to
you
nobody.
had to honor that and respect your time. Respect their time. And because it's hard.
But not just because they were seniors, because they was good.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
Like you ain't you got to be good to be on that field. That's why when he's saying that he was able to play as a sophomore, that's unheard of at that time. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm saying, and especially like if you able to play, you're gonna play.
Right.
But it's seniors and those juniors that's really nice. It's just that like you nice, but these other guys are nice too, and they older too, so they gonna have to play until that time.
But those are my heroes. I was never been a guy, and I think this is why it's hard for me to accept. A lot of accolades as far as a lot of love for people who say, "Oh, you did this, you did that," because. I didn't reach out. Like my favorite football player of all time is Lawrence Taylor. Right? Like I think he is, bar nothing, regardless of a position, the greatest football player that ever played. I
would agree.
And I met him once. I met him once face to face, and I didn't even have this. I don't have the same feeling for him. Meeting him once, meet my guy who I think is the greatest football player of all time, than I have for. When I see a Jimmy Williams,
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When I bump into Rodney Carter,
Right.
You know what I mean? The greats,
The
the people who I consider to be great and helped me become who I was. It gave me the hunger. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't get that same feel. I didn't get that same feeling. So I was always a little guy. So when I say that, I mean I went there because when you said what was my goal. My goal was always to represent my family well. You know what I mean? Represent the city of Elizabeth. Right. Not the city. I'm sorry. Yeah, the city, but really the players who played for the city.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I wanted to make sure that when somebody mentioned my name, they spoke good of me.
Right.
You know what I mean? They said, and they wouldn't have to hear that, oh, your boy Malik, nah, he ain't that good. You know what I'm saying? I want them to say,
Malik can't go home.
Yeah,
he put
that work in. Yeah,
That's
exactly. You can't go home.
Right.
Can't go home. So, but as I understood what the business was, then of course, my goal was to become a professional, man, to play in the NFL.
Right. And it's hard to I don't want to say hard to bring it up, but I know, like I said, within the podcast we talk a lot about, like I said, when it was over, not necessarily just whatever the situation being, but I know we talked about how we coped and how we dealt with it. You get what I'm saying? Or didn't. If we realized that, what we were going through, if any. You get what I'm saying? But so before, we end, I guess it's like a two-part question, and of course if you got something afterwards. How did you adapt, or how did you assimilate back into whatever or whoever you are going or were or was going to be for the next 60 years? Because remember, even if you played 9 to 24, you know what I'm saying?
Young.
We still got another 55 years, God willing, you know what I mean, to be.
You could play 14 years. No, I take it with that. You could play 20 years in the NFL and still at the end you're only 40 years old.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, so you have a long time, still have a lot of life to live. The irony of being when you playing football is that when it's over, the door is shut, and it is not a glass door; it's a wooden door, and this is the feeling that you have is that it's shut, it's over, and you like twirling your thumbs, and you like, okay, what's next?
Yeah,
I had one game plan.
Yep.
Right.
Right? And everybody else had one game plan. It's the same game plan, whether they said it verbally or not. You know what I mean? And you still got to answer to that. So for me, for my situation, I I I didn't make it to the NFL. I had an opportunity in Canada and arena football to play for professional football, um, and then actually back to the NFL. And I think this really broke my heart is when I had an opportunity to play for the Eagles, and I went out and they called me up, and then I went out and I worked out for them, and I actually had my contract in my hand, and then I got my contract around 8 o'clock in the morning that day. Around 3:45, I was called into Ray Rose's office. He had just gotten the job, I think a year prior, and then I noticed another person that was in there, and it was the doctor. So he was like, I was like, then he said that we wasn't going to be able to sign. I was like, I got the contract. How you going to tell me you can't sign me and I got my contract in my hand right here?
I break everything in.
I'm over here like this.
Right.
Yeah. Talking about, wait, let me talk to you first.
Exactly.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
Slam this damn desk on your face. That's what I do.
Well, so the doctor was like, I had an injury. My senior year, it was a second-degree knee sprain. And what happened was, it was an injury, That was my senior year. By this time, this is maybe 4 or 5 years later. And for him to tell me that it was because of my knee, after I done played on it for several years, I'm like, I'm devastated, And yeah, had I known what I know now, I probably would have approached it different. But I accepted it, and that was the worst thing I could have done. I should have pushed the issue. Like, hold on a second, my knee's straight.
Yeah.
Like, hold on a second, I'll show you that. But what you want me to? How much you want me to squat? Whatever. Do you need me to sign a waiver to say that if I get hurt because of this particular knee, then you guys, I release you from any responsibility. I probably myself right now I would have done that. You know what I mean? With the way I'm thinking now, I'm calm. You know what I'm saying? Then I was emotional. I was like, I was in shock. I should say I was in shock. How do you go from I was just kicking tail. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Top player.
I'm talking about that. I'm talking about that week. That week.
Oh,
that's at the Eagles camp. I was rocking and rolling, and I got a really weird story, but I have met all the goals that they wanted me to have. You know what I'm saying? As far as my weight, as far as my speed, and everything. But it still was no answer.
Yeah.
So, like I said. That was the infamy, was a stab in the heart, and for the next couple of years it was a blur. Even though I was functional, even though I would smile, I was heartbroken.
Yeah.
Heartbroken. You know what I mean? And ironically, one of my brothers, not by the same mother or father, but my brother in Islam, Ahmed Ismail, he recognized something that he saw in him, he saw in me, that he recognized that he went through himself. You know what I mean? And he snatched me up. And ultimately, it actually put me on the path to having, to seeing something different, to setting another goal for my life, to actually use what I've accomplished to be a better person for our society, for our community.
Right.
And alhamdulillah, he was able to get me. He saw that, and then helped me. And I mean, listen, Ahmed do not have a degree in sociology, anything like that. But he do have a degree in helping people, and is a degree that he earned from within himself, from the streets. So I give him a lot of credit for it. You know what I mean? He don't accept it. You know what I mean? Because he said I did the work, which I agree. But sometimes, just like all of us, we need somebody to show us the path. Right now we got navigation system.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We may know how to drive. But we don't know which way we're going. So when we direct it in the right way or to the right place, then that's something different. That you got to say thank you for that. You know what I mean? But I watch a lot of people that was in my situation, going through the same thing I did after playing. I watched you do it. Quentin Spot with also my own little brother Akeem, And even my son, my son, he had the ability to go to 49ers,
Right.
and then without, not because of he couldn't play, but because they needed to get alignment, he was released.
Right.
And I watched him struggle with it. And here goes a smart guy, somebody who's been warned.
Brilliant.
Huh?
Brilliant.
Yeah,
He brilliant. But he was warned about this, right? Like
And
I wasn't
still-
warned about it.
Yeah.
You guys watched me.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't know what I was going through. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
at the
definitely.
time y'all still was playing. You was in high school, you was in college. So yeah, y'all didn't see it. You know what I mean? You had just gone to college. You was in high school.
Yeah, yeah.
You was damn. I'm not
Yeah,
old.
see,
You was in
I
middle
wanna-
school.
I
He
wanna
was playing
touch on-
basketball.
I want to touch on that what you just said because you said that we didn't see it, but you did a good job of hiding it. Like, like when I say, and not so much that you was trying to hide it from us, it's just that probably at that time we wasn't ready for that conversation or whatever. But what I'm saying is that you did a great job of still getting up, waking up, putting your hard hat on, and doing what you had to do for us. Like when I say that, because we still was in the gym.
Right,
11
right,
o'clock,
yeah,
we in the
yeah.
gym.
Right.
Yeah.
We working out. Like,
Right.
and I mean, other people on the weekends, they go on Saturdays and they having their fun and they partying. We at the gym. Like,
Right.
I could say that. That's what he did a great job of still staying active. And that's what I be wanting to let people know. Like, stay active in what you do and what you used to. Like, we play sports. We do football, but we play basketball as well. So stay active so you won't fall into that, what's that, like the dark cloud or,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Look,
And
well,
like that.
For me,
Sunken place.
For
Yeah,
me,
exactly.
absolutely.
Right.
But for me, you talk about, we talked earlier about what football does, right? That was a involuntary reaction to even just even though I knew that football was over, it was registered in my mind. My body still was getting up. My body was saying, "Okay, let's do this."
Yeah.
My mind wasn't necessarily saying it was.
Right.
It was just. It was a involuntary reaction to who I've been since I first put on a helmet at 8 years old. You know what I mean? It was a structured thing, and now here I am. 28, 29 years old. The helmet ain't coming on, but the body's still getting up to be on for me to go prepare for that. You know what I mean? So,
Definitely.
Did you? Because I didn't know, and I didn't come home immediately. I played a little arena football, but I was by myself. You know what I'm saying? Because even the dudes that I met on those teams, you get what I'm saying? It was cool.
Yeah.
But I was so out of it.
I ain't supposed to be
I didn't
playing
know. So my question is, and then I want you to help me with this going into what you're doing now and how's everything get over. But did you even know? Because I didn't know I was depressed.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't know. I thought, like you said, I think it was different for him because when I would come home, we would go work out with the boys and whatever. So I don't think that, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you had a lot of time to focus on that, you know what I'm saying? Because when we all together,
like you said you was here. You came home to your sons and all. You was just like nobody else I could relate to as far as like sport wise.
right.
Like his time when he probably came home, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. We was there, so it was like you had something to do.
He had no time.
Yeah, so it's like I ain't got time to be mad at myself. Well, not even so much that mad. Like I just feel some type of way because I'm not mad at myself that I didn't play. I'm just mad that I wasn't blessed and didn't get the opportunity to further my career.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? If
Well,
that makes sense. Like,
two things can happen when you have free time, right, or quietness.
Yeah.
You can go deeper, or you can become enlightened, right? And I didn't have quiet time. I had so my younger brothers who were like 12 and 11 years, 12 and 13 years younger than me, right? So their careers were starting. So I that was part of it.
Right.
I had you guys. You know what I'm saying? You are 5 years older than him.
Yeah, I'm 39.
yeah. I ain't saying my age on
Yeah.
camera. I'm young enough. Like, I'm
26.
22.
Yeah, so you listen, you ain't gonna tell your age, but you're 10 years older than him. So it was never a break. When you was on your way, it was his
6
turn,
years,
Right.
and his brother's turn, and then then my sons. right? Yeah, so I got another something.
Yeah.
I got a 6-year-old that so I'm in it for life.
He liked that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, that's because he was born into it.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
It's like Conan the Barbarian. He was born into it.
Yo,
The genes is strong, baby.
And when you as sad as it is, who said that? It was Bird from the Temptations?
What he said?
He said this is a joyous occasion as well as a sad one. But when you talk about it, no, I'm the 5 heartbeats, my man. But when you bring that up, it made me happy for a second because I'm like, okay, let's look at the lineage real quick.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your father. You know what I'm saying? University of Purdue. You know what I'm saying? Rutgers, Pitt. Your brothers, Rutgers, Meade, Minnesota. Jihad, West Virginia. Hakeem, West Virginia. Jihad, Temple. You know what I'm saying? Yo, the line.
Graduated from Fordham.
Graduated from Fordham. Sorry.
Yeah.
The line, you know what I'm saying? Is something just to be. It's like no other. You understand what I'm saying? Spot Syracuse. You get what I'm saying?
I had a little brother too on the side. Damon too. That he done graduated college too. So he did his thing out ball, playing basketball.
Yeah. So as sad as, like you said, I'm not saying that there was no time to go to the sunken place.
It wasn't time to mentally go there. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean.
Emotionally, it was always there. You know what I mean? Well, I'm gonna tell you why it was always there. Right, and this is good, and I also I don't want to use the word bad, but it was hard to deal with. Is every single day, and this is not even an exaggeration, for every single day from the time I started playing for about 10 to 15 years, 10 to 15 years, somebody somewhere made a comment about me playing and what should have happened.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you should have been in the NFL.
Right.
You should have been here. You should have been there. You know what I mean? and it's like I said, it's a good thing that people still remember you 10 to 15 years later. But it's like I've done. Leading back into your second part of your question, I've done other things that I think I'm more proud of than anything I've achieved in football. Right. You know, whether it's an MVP, whether it's a championship, whatever I've accomplished in football is really doesn't compare to what I've done outside of football.
Right.
But I still appreciate football because football put me in a position to be able to do this.
Do these things,
and that's one of the things that Ahmed actually helped me to see. You know what I'm saying? So currently, I'm the superintendent for recreation for City of Elizabeth, right? Which entails a lot of different things. You know what I mean? But the biggest thing is for me is the ability to create programming for the youth in Elizabeth. Right. You know, our director Stanley Neron. We both of us are new. We came in the same exact time, same exact day, pretty much. All right, and so we have created this hashtag. Is hashtag Recreation Save Lives. So through my experience, and Stanley has a very extensive background as well when it comes to what he's done, not in athletics, but in programming, and he actually was in the entertainment business for a long time. But both of us have very good backgrounds that complement one another. And one of the things that we want to do is we want to be able to save not just this is not just the kids' lives, but also our employees, right. The other adults in the community. We want to give them programming that's going to help them become better, not just to waste their time. You know what I mean? Whatever we do is not a waste of time. What it is an encouragement to become a better version of yourself. Yes, you know what I mean? Right. The best version of yourself. This is something that I kind of stole from my cousin Brian Crawford. You know, he used to tell one of my sons. He said, just tell him to be the best version of who he is. And I was like, I love that. Yeah. I love that, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be the best version of myself. but I realized that I'm just not football. You know what I mean? I'm just not.
Yeah, definitely.
So some of the things I've done is work with Elizabeth Giants Youth Organization, which for 25 years have ushered us the new athlete, the better athletes. You know what I'm saying? And the smarter athletes, in my opinion. You know, I'm very proud of people like yourself and Ray, Kasim Green, and my other nephew, my sons, my little brothers, going on to get educations from very great universities. But one of the things that recently had misfortune of going to a funeral, and one of my friends' funeral. At that funeral, one of the guys that I coach approached myself and Ahmed and Hamza, our other partner, Hamza Abbas, and he said, you know, if I never said anything to you guys before, I want to tell you guys, thank you, love you. You guys saved my life.
Yeah.
This guy never went on to play a down of football or basketball in college. He never stepped foot on the campus. But we changed his life. We changed his way of thinking.
Right.
We gave him the opportunity to think that, or believe that he was a better person. You know what I'm saying? And hence he became a better version of himself. You know what I mean? And I'll give credit to to his parents. You know what I mean? Because his father wasn't in his life, but his mother allowed us to be that male figure for him. And it's stuff like that makes me be able to get up every day and say, okay, which one is going to be this next kid? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
How can I help another person to become that next kid? And those are pleasures of life for me. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Make it all the better, right?
Good, man.
So, but I, you know, just to kind of like give another you know, my perspective on guys who are at that point of the door is closing for them, the next chapter for them. You know, is one of the things they got to do. One of the things I recommend they do is talk. You know what I mean? The one thing I never did was talk. You know what I mean? Like I said.
When you say talk, you saying talk to somebody or just talk like to get your story out?
Well, I think there's talk to somebody, get your, either way.
Okay.
Either way. But it's about communication because you know you want to get that stuff out. You want to hear it because if it's BS, sometimes it's BS, right? Sometimes I don't make excuses for why they make it. People ask me all the time, well, why didn't you make it? You was this blah 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 blah, right? And I said that's not for me to really understand or know right now. What I have to know is what's next.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What I'm doing now.
Yeah.
How can I learn from the past? You know what I mean? So, but you gonna only know that if you talk. You know what I mean? And I've had conversations on why with some of the more intimate people in my life, and you know, I talked about the incident, right? And I say, okay, well, there's other people that have way worse than me. You know what I'm saying? And still was able to make it. I talked about, you know, even my faith. You know what I'm saying? And what was happening during that time. You know, and you know, yeah, that could be about it. If that's it, I can accept that. You know what I'm saying? I can accept that. If it could have been the fact that I didn't work hard enough. How about that? You know what I mean? Like is me, is others, is the incident. You know, it could have been anything.
A bunch of different factors.
A lot of play that factors in it.
Yeah. So if you go back and forth with that, you'll never be able to move forward. You know what I mean? You'll never be able to move forward. You're gonna have enough people telling you, no, you should have been, you should have been an all-star. You know
get that so much.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Such and such could use it. This is no lie. When I bought my house, right? When I bought my house a couple of years ago, my neighbor, just so happened to be a fan, he comes up to me and said, "Man, Giants can use you now." I was like, for what? To carry water?
To do what?
30 years out, you
Make sure the uniform fit.
Man, listen, right now when the wind blows, I get cold, man. My bones hurt. Ain't no way nobody can use me.
Real, man.
But you know,
man. They still love you though, man. That's the thing, man. It's just that, but they don't know no better, and they don't mean no harm.
They don't.
No, but they grew up. The same way we grew up, looking at them before us.
Yeah.
When they grew up with us, and you know, and I'm gonna bring this up for a quick second. is rest in peace Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gigi,
Absolutely.
the rest of
definitely.
other individuals who passed. But people were saying, well, how can you, be so upset over an individual you never met? Well,
He impacted.
I grew up, watching this individual, you know what I'm saying, go from this point to that point. You get what I'm saying? Every step of the way, or whatever the case is like that. Right. So, it's like when those fans see us, they like, yo, I remember.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was
the memories of times
when you give them, if they were a fan, when you won. You get what I'm saying? So they would go home and talk about, you crazy, bro. You seen what Malik did, or you seen what G did. So they went along with steps, along with us. You know what I mean?
I tell you, first, let me say this too. My ended in my career, the transition, and like I said, I already credit Ahmed, but also going to credit my parents, right? I'm also going to credit my older brother. I'm also going to credit my wife, and not for nothing. I'm going to also credit my children. You know what I mean? My children also was, and like I said, you guys played your part. Y'all played your part, not knowing y'all was playing your part. Y'all kept me happy, right? But my kids being born gave me a sense of responsibility that I had to, regardless of whatever. I had to get up. You know what I mean? Right. I had to get up, strap my boots, and because my dad was my example. I'm supposed to be my children's example, and they're gonna be their children. Their children's example. Right. So that situation. I mean, that also helped me through it, and not for nothing, my Lord. You know what I mean? Right. But my belief, my faith. It was one incident with the body. I'm gonna call him a fan, which I really hate to say because I don't consider myself to be that that person that needs that's supposed to have fans. You know? But so my son was being born. My second son was being born, Naeem, and I'm coming outside. Went to go get my wife something to eat, and was a guy standing on the bus stop. So he says, "Hey," he yells across the street, "Say, hey Malik, how you doing?" And I was like, well, "What's up?" Like I don't know the guy, but I said, "What's up? How you doing?" Young white guy. So I was, so he started to try to have a conversation, and when I'm looking at him, I'm like, this don't make no sense. So let me tell him. I said, let me go walk across the street. I said, hold on. So I go across the street, and he said, man, I just wanted to say this. This is the first thing he said when I crossed the street. He said, you saved me and my father relationship. Now I'm a little jammed up. I'm like, what you going with this? So when I want to say when he was in 7th or 8th grade, his mom passed away. And he started rebelling, and him and his father was drifting apart. So he came to see me in high school. His father brought him to see me play in high school, and he said, from that moment on, they didn't miss not one of my games. And I'm like, huh? He said that was our bonding thing. Right. He said we went to go see you play. We didn't go see Elizabeth High School play. We didn't go see Rutgers play. We went to go see you play. And I was like, and that brought me to a different place. Also like it
touching lives you don't even know who this person is.
So and you've done it, and we just don't know. I mean, but that's the beauty of sports and beauty of football in particular.
Ice Cube said that the other day when I was watching something. He was talking about Kobe, and he was like, "You got to understand that this is L.A." Yeah. He said we got gang members, we got race wars, we got police brutality. He said, but the Lakers, the Dodgers, you know what I'm saying, can have all of us come together and be, cool and cordial and have fun and I'm gonna say one thing. Something about that is an example that they actually made a movie about it. The women's baseball league. I think it was called League of Their Own. League of Their Own.
Yeah. Okay. So the thing about what happened was that it was during the wartime, and the baseball players they was all drafted. They had to go there. But the sport of baseball lived on through women, right? Even though that time women was considered to be second-class citizens, but eventually what happened was the people came out and they saw that these women not only had talent, a huge talent, but the sport itself was being played the proper way.
Right.
So the people came out and enjoyed it, and this is what sports does. Sports it transcends gender, it transcends race and color. You know what I mean? And that's the beauty. That's why I always say, sport. Get your son or daughter in a sport. And let them be a teammate to something. You know, to someone.
No matter what it is, anything, soccer, basketball, football,
whatever.
Definitely, man. Yeah, but you got anything else?
No, man. Once again, Malik, I appreciate the time, man. You coming through, giving us a piece of yourself.
Yeah, man. Definitely, we definitely appreciate the time and you sharing some light, some good insight, very much needed for us and for the people that's watching. We definitely appreciate that.
Right. Once again, this is After the Play podcast. I'm Asad Abdul Khalik.
Ray Graham. We appreciate you watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, drop some comments down below, and give us feedback and whatever you feel like you need to let us know, man. We need it, and we here for it. Thank you for your time.
Take it easy.
Good. Thanks,